What's up guys, it's your girl Mathilda, obviously, and you know that because you're on my channel. And today I'm going to talk about how I knew and how you can know that you are transgender, because I've received this question so much. Like, you're asking me like, how did you know that you are transgender? Can you tell me if I am transgender and stuff like that? And I can only tell you from my point of view. Like, I can only tell you from a transsexual point of view, because I am transsexual. Like, I was born a male and now I'm transitioned to a female. Like, I cannot speak for you if you're a cross-dresser or like non-binary, because I'm not. I am transsexual, and I'm just saying transgender because it's more of a like an umbrella type of term, and that is what I use the most. So I'm just going to let you know how you can know that you are transgender and what you can do with that information as soon as you know. So yeah, but before we get into this video, don't forget to follow me on my socials, especially Instagram, because you know, fun time. But now, let's get into this video and to know how you can know that you are transgender. Yes. So to start off this video, I'm just going to let you know that I understood that I was transgender at the age of 15. As soon as I saw this TV show about transgender people, and I had no idea that it could actually be transgender. This was maybe, I don't know, like 11, 12 years ago. I'm 26 right now, so I saw this TV show about transgender people and I was like, oh my god, that is me. Because my entire life I had this sinking feeling that something was like wrong with me. When I was like 2 or 3 years old, I had these thoughts that I was not like everyone else. And as soon as I started going to school, I was so jealous of all the other girls. I was like, I want to be them. Like, I am them. if you know what I mean. Like, I was like, I'm a big girl. And like, I was thinking about gender a lot and where I fit in. And I had no idea that I was actually transgender, because like, I was 5 years old. Like, how could you possibly know that? But when I saw this TV show at the age of 15, I had so much pain in my life. Like, every time I looked myself in the mirror, I knew that something was not right. Like, I knew, like, deep inside that something was so wrong with me, but I couldn't find the words to describe it. For the longest time, I thought that my confidence was like so low. I had no idea that I was transgender. But I saw this TV show. I instantly knew that I was transgender. I instantly knew that I wanted to transition. And I went down to my mom and I was like, I want to transition. Like, I'm a girl. And she was so supportive right away. Obviously, she was shocked, but you know, she was very supportive. So yeah, that's the tea on that. And I got so many comments and questions about like, how did I know? Like, how did I truly understand that I was transsexual and that I wanted to transition? Yeah, so I'm going to tell you. First of all, as I said, I can't tell you if you're not transsexual, and also I can't really speak for you. I can only tell you why I understood that I was transsexual, like transgender. My entire life I had known, not like known really, but like I had, as I said, this sinking feeling that something was wrong with me. However, I didn't truly understand it until I was older. But when I was a kid, I always thought about where I belonged and stuff like that. However, I was also a product of my environment. So obviously, even though I only had girlfriends, like not girlfriends, you know, like, but I mean like friends that are girls. I didn't want to hang out with the boys, you know. I was not comfortable being with them. I liked being with the girls instead, and this is not like a requirement. I know a lot of transgender people that hung around with other guys even though they were really like girls inside, so that is not a requirement. As I said, I'm only speaking from my point of view. I hung around with the girls a lot, and I knew that I felt more comfortable being with them. I like connected with them on another level, and I also like, I was so jealous of everything that they stood for, like how they looked like, what they could play with. My entire life was kind of leading up up to the moment I understood that I was transgender. And as I went into puberty, everything changed. I started hating myself like on another level. I completely have hated everything about how it looked like and everything with my body. I had this intense gender dysphoria. If you know what gender dysphoria means, it's literally like if you're transsexual, you suffer from gender dysphoria, or that is the same thing. Like you suffer from gender dysphoria if you are transsexual. Or like here in Sweden, we're going through this long process. Like I'm getting off track, but I just want to let you know that if you are transgender here in Sweden, you need to find yourself a therapist. They will send you to a clinic for transgender people, and then there you will meet like different psychologists, doctors, and all of that, and they will actually determine if you are transgender. And the reason why they're doing that, I'm just saying it right now, the process takes years to fulfill. Like you can't just like, I'm transgender and then go on the HRT, the hormone replacement therapy. You will need to go through this long process that takes years, and they can deny you. And that is for your own good, because that means you are not really transsexual and you won't be able to transition, because you will just realize that it was the wrong way to go and you will detransition. So here in Sweden, we have this long process that takes years to save you from not being forced to detransition later in life. And that was like so off track, like girl, what are you doing? The reason why I said that is just to let you know that in order to be able to transition here in Sweden, you will need to suffer from gender dysphoria, because like that is it's just the same. Like if you're transsexual, you suffer from gender dysphoria some way or another. It's different for every person, but on some degree you will always suffer from gender dysphoria. So gender dysphoria, I can put it here. It's like when you feel that you're in the wrong body kinda, and you can't see yourself living your life in your body, and you feel this uneasy feeling. Sometimes it's less and sometimes it's more. And for me, it was like really intense. I hated everything about myself. I didn't want to live if I couldn't be a girl. As I said before, you can suffer from intense gender dysphoria, or you like mild dysphoria. And some people live with the gender dysphoria for years. Like take Caitlyn Jenner, for example. She didn't realize that she was transgender before she was all grown up and like an adult. She was also the product of her environment. When she grew up, there wasn't anything like even remotely close to being transgender. People didn't talk about being transsexual or transgender when she grew up, so she couldn't see a TV program or a TV show about people being transgender. She didn't know who she was or how she felt. She's spoken about how she kind of realized that something was wrong with her as well, but she didn't have anyone to look up to, so she kind of just lived her life as everyone else without really knowing who she was. But anyway, so I knew that I was transgender due to my gender dysphoria, and you can as well. If you just feel like your mind doesn't connect with your body, that is gender dysphoria. Like as for me, as I said, my gender dysphoria was really intense. So I knew right away that I was transgender, just because like when I met all of these therapists and doctors, I was telling them how much my life had been shaped by my dysphoria. Like I didn't know the term gender dysphoria at that time. When I met all of these doctors, I was just telling them how my life had been shaped by the feeling of me not feeling like I was right. Like I was telling them when I was 5 and I was so jealous of all the other girls, and I was telling them when I was 10 years old, I tried so hard to see myself as a grown male. I was imagining myself as an adult male, thinking that I could be happy being, an adult male, and that didn't work out. Like the feelings of me being in the wrong body just like intensified as I grew up. And when I told all of my psychologists this, they told me like that is gender dysphoria, and we believe that you might be transsexual. And as the time progressed, I finally began going on the HRT, like the hormone replacement therapy, like estrogen and testosterone blockers to be, you know, the right me. Like I was so happy to finally get the body that my mind so desperately wanted. There's no doubt about it that it wasn't supposed to be like this. So if you have feelings that you might be transgender, I truly recommend you to find yourself a good therapist that are well aware of how gender dysphoria and transgender people work. Get yourself an appointment with them, talk to them, tell them your feelings, and maybe they can even, you know, send you even further. Maybe they can send you to someone that has gender dysphoria as their, you know, special field. So go on Google, search for, you know, gender dysphoria psychologists and stuff like that. That really depends on where you live. Here in Sweden, as I said, we have this long process, and you'll just need to Google being transgender and it will just tell you which clinic to go, and they will give you everything that you will possibly need, like doctors, psychologists, like HRT, gender reassignment surgery. Everything is in the same place. So, however, I don't really know how it works in other countries. So just like go on Google and find yourself a good therapist. That is my biggest recommendation. And if you're under the age of 18, I think that you will need your parents' consent to go to a therapist. I don't know how it is in your country, but here it is. Like here in Sweden, you will need your parents' acceptance to find yourself a therapist. I know that it can be really scary to tell your parents. I mean, it took a long time before I told my father. I was really quick with telling my mother just because I knew that I needed someone to help me with the process, but it took a long time before I told my father, not really because I was scared of him or anything like that. Like, he's been very accepting. I was just not comfortable with telling him yet, and like he had never ever said anything even remotely, you know, homophobic or stuff like that. He passed away 9 years ago, unfortunately, but he was really supportive during my process, and he didn't see me be the woman I am today, but he knew about my transitioning and he was really behind it, and I'm happy I told him before he, you know, was no longer with us. So yeah, but I truly recommend you to tell your parents so they can help you. And if you're over the age of 18, you don't really need your parents' consent. You can just like meet up with a therapist on your own and they can help you that way. But as I said, the first step is to either tell your parents, or, you know, if you're over the age of 18, you can just like go to a therapist right away. Like in these times, or like in this era, I know how easy it is to just like Google your symptoms and kind of believe what you're reading and believe that you know what's wrong with you. And that is not really always the case. So I truly recommend you to find yourself a good therapist that can help you with your feelings, because your feelings can be so much more than you think. So I truly recommend you to find yourself a good therapist, as I've said multiple times during this video. I can tell you how you're feeling. I can only tell you from my own point of view and like tell you my own experiences. But, you know, I transitioned with the help of professionals. So I didn't do this myself, because you can't do this yourself here in Sweden. Like, you will need help. So that is something that I truly recommend. Get yourself help, and they can help you. Only you know how you're feeling, and a professional will help you with those feelings. So yeah, like that was everything for this video. I think if you have any questions, please comment them below. But yeah, if you liked this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, and also the little bell icon to get future notifications whenever I post. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.